What is going on, Culture Changers? Welcome back to the Culture Changers podcast. Now, today we are going to be doing things a little bit different. I know that all that we had been doing in the past few weeks was just NFL picks. Unfortunately, Dylan isn't here with me today, so it is just me. I just have a few topics I want to talk about. You guys will see them over here. And we're just going to go ahead and get it started off with what is going on with Baker Mayfield. So, the past few games, you could just kind of tell something's going on. I mean, really last year and in this year, it's just like what's going on with him, right? And the biggest thing that I've noticed is it just looks like there's a lack of confidence there with him. Now, I don't know if this is something that he's developed into or, it's just something that, his mechanics got thrown off last year when he was working with Freddie Kitchens and Ryan Lindley, and it's trying to be corrected this year, and he's just not sure of himself. But from training camp, I've seen it, and I continue to see it into the games. And it's like everything that he sees, he's just pump faking on the ball, and it's just like, what are you doing? If you go back and look at it, like he's looking at wide open receivers, like they're wide open, and he's just not throwing the ball. So I don't know what's going on there. I really believe in Baker, and I really hope that he can be the guy for this franchise. And he acts like he wants to be here and he wants to, make Cleveland a winner. And you see his wife on Instagram putting out all these things and stuff like that to show like he's grinding and like he really wants this for this team, for the city. But at the end of the day, this is a league in which do you produce results or not? And you could tell like in the first half of the game against the Colts, he had a great game going. And then in the second half, like he had like 9 yards. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I know that the Browns are trying to close the game out, but at the end of the day, you need to make the throws to, put the game away. And unfortunately, he had thrown two picks in that game in the second half, which, kind of kept the Colts hanging around. Thankfully, the defense was able to make a stop, and even get the ball back. Again, in the second half, Sheldrick Redwine had gotten an interception, but I don't want to talk too much about that. I just think that, Baker just needs to trust his eyes, trust the scheme, trust the system, and trust the guys around him and, let them help him make the plays, right? Like they are getting open. And, this team can only go as far as Baker's willing to, be able to go. And, as a Browns fan, I want to see them succeed and I want to see him succeed, right? I have a jersey of his, I'm a big believer in him. I think he can make all the big time throws that are necessary, right? But you can just tell something's off with him. And, somehow, some way, if he was able to see this, I would just say, hey, look, man, just be you. You're an accurate quarterback. You're a confident guy. Just be that. Once you see it, just let it rip. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather see you try and make these passes and try and make these plays and they pay off rather than you just not and see a guy that's wide open on a replay of a play and you just throw it away or you take the sack. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to see you succeed. I just want to see the Browns succeed. And, I know those guys in the locker room and the coaching staff is just sitting there grinding it out and trying to figure out how to win these games. Sitting at 4-2 after 6 games is a great record. But there's still a lot to be desired and a lot to improve upon. I'm sure Baker knows that, the coaching staff knows that, and the rest of the team knows that. So moving on to the second topic, you see it is our 2020 or our week 7 picks of the 2020 NFL season. So I have my picks right now. I don't have Dylan, so we will get that figured out. But right now, as it stands, I have the Eagles winning. I have the Saints winning, Bills, Browns, Cowboys. Then I have the Packers winning their game, Falcons, Steelers, Seahawks, Chiefs, Chargers, 49ers, Buccaneers, and the Rams. Now, I'm not trying to take too much time and going into depth. I think that takes a lot of time. And, just seeing the weekly pick videos, I feel like is just getting old. So I'm trying to minimize that and just make it so that way I just say who my picks are and kind of keep it moving. Now, obviously, there's a lot of games in there that, I might have picked the favorite to win. There's the Browns, who I'm always picking to win. And then there's maybe, an upset like the Falcons potentially winning or the Chargers winning or the 49ers winning. So again, let me know down below if I picked your team to win this upcoming week. If I didn't, tell me why you think they will win. I appreciate, everyone, commenting on the videos and stuff like that. So I would appreciate the continued support. the views, the liking, the commenting, the subscribing. I appreciate all of that. Now, going on to the third topic today, the Falcons fire sale. Could we potentially see the Atlanta Falcons kind of just blowing everything up and, just getting rid of some of the talent to kind of acquire draft picks and maybe restarting and seeing what they could do there, right? They've had a lot of guys for quite a while. They just got rid of their coach and their GM. Last week we talked about that in last week's pick video. But Julio Jones has been there for a while. Matt Ryan's been there for a while. Alex Mack's been there for a while. Deion Jones is getting towards the end of his rookie contract, and Grady Jarrett, I'm not sure if he got re-signed or if he's just on the franchise tag, but he's been there for quite a while now at this point. So, these are just some guys that I figured, they're high cap numbers. They probably want to go somewhere where they can kind of make an immediate impact and win games. And unfortunately, Atlanta's just dealt with injuries, poor coaching, and they just had a, bad hand dealt out to them, with bad luck and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily going to speculate on where I think some of these guys are going to go, but, even guys like, could Calvin Ridley be up for sale? Could Keanu Neal, potentially be traded? I'd assume that they would like to keep some of their younger talent. Even guys like Jake Matthews, who's a solid left tackle, some of the offensive linemen they drafted a couple years ago. I would assume that they would like to keep those guys there in Atlanta and continue to try and build off of that. But, it's going to be interesting to see, what kind of scheme and system they go with, who they potentially target as a head coach and a general manager. Now, obviously, I think a guy like Julio Jones would fit in any scheme. I think Deion Jones would fit in any scheme, and Grady Jarrett would fit in any scheme. But, Julio, he's going to want targets, right? So I don't think he's going to go to a team that's more run oriented. Alex Mack, he's really good in that zone blocking scheme, but he's a pretty solid player overall. Deion Jones, he's pretty fast, but I could see him on a 3-4 team more than I could see him on a 4-3 team. And then Grady Jarrett is a disruptor inside. He's a little bit smaller in size, so could I see him on a 4-3 team? Probably so, or, even as a D end in a 3-4 scheme. So, that's all out there to, be put out there. Matt Ryan has had success running the wide zone scheme, that kind of West Coast play action under Kyle Shanahan. So, I mean, look, if things don't work out for Baker, and I know Matt Ryan's not the best, but he could be a great guy to plug in Cleveland and kind of run that scheme, and keep things going, right? That roster has a lot of talent. Everybody knows that. It just hasn't lived up to its potential yet. So could a veteran guy like Matt Ryan potentially come in there, lead the charge, make the plays, and win games for Cleveland at quarterback? That's just something, I got to put out there. Again, I'm all for my guy Baker. I don't want to see him lose his job. I want to see him succeed. But that is a potential possibility, if the organization chooses to move on from Baker, after the next year or two. So, we'll see. Now, something I want to do to kind of cap it off is a little news and notes. So we have Tua Tagovailoa, I believe that's how you say his name, is going to make his first NFL start after the bye week for the Dolphins. They are going to have to play the Rams, so he is going to have to go up against Aaron Donald. But Tua has a little bit of mobility, so he could potentially get away from some of the pressure that's in his face. He did go into the game against the Jets in garbage time, I think, kind of just to get a feel. And the coaches must have liked what they've seen out of him so far from training camp, practice, walkthroughs and stuff like that. And even in that game. So, you might as well just take him out there and see what he has to offer, right? The Chargers kind of got into that with Justin Herbert, and now he is their full-fledged starter. I thought he's played pretty good so far. Obviously, the wins haven't shown up in the win-loss column yet, but, he's a growing player. He's going to figure it out at some point. And he's impressed so far to this point. The World Series Game 1 is underway. That's going to be between the Dodgers and the Rays. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm a big baseball fan, but I just wanted to, say that and, make note of that game is underway tonight, Tuesday, October 20th. Now, if I had to just choose between the two teams, who I would want to win, probably the Dodgers, honestly. I thought Clayton Kershaw was a great pitcher growing up. I love seeing him, but he's always struggled in the playoffs for some reason. I know that they have a ridiculous amount of talent and they have a big payroll on their roster, but, it is what it is. I think that the Dodgers, could end up coming out of this and winning, but I know the Rays have great pitching and they've had pretty good hitting throughout these playoffs. So I think it will be an interesting matchup. And then lastly, I want to congratulate the Los Angeles Lakers on winning another NBA championship. This is pretty big, right? It's LeBron's fourth championship now. A couple guys on the roster have now won multiple championships. And then Anthony Davis has now won his first championship. So I think that's just pretty big. They survived the bubble. They did it the best. They won the championship. I think that they had probably two of the best players, obviously, on their team. So that really helped out a lot. But they did what they had to do, and, they beat everyone that was put in front of them. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a Lakers versus Clippers series. So that was kind of unfortunate. But, it is what it is. Clippers just weren't good enough to get there. So, and now they are under new direction with head coach Tyronn Lue, and the Philadelphia Sixers actually ended up picking up Doc Rivers. So I guess it'll be interesting to see, can the Sixers equate to a little bit more out of the East and kind of make more out of their potential and their young stars such as Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and, kind of bring guys like Al Horford and all those guys together and make them play as one and kind of win these bigger games. And can Tyronn Lue, figure it out and kind of, I think he's just got to figure out like, hey, look, we got Kawhi and Paul George, let's just kind of run the game through Kawhi. And then if it's not there, we have Paul George to lean on. I think that he did a great job of managing, touches and points and all that stuff between LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love, throughout his time there. And then even just LeBron and Kevin Love, and the supporting cast, post Kyrie's departure from Cleveland. So again, that is it for me today. It's a little bit shorter, but that's kind of how I want to keep it short, compact, just let you guys in on some information, some things that I'm feeling. Let me know down in the comment section below what your thoughts are on this. Also, feel free to debate anything. Tell me what you think is wrong with Baker, what you think he needs to improve upon. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this, and I will catch you guys in the next one.